Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing my wheel bearings on Sur-Ron. We got I think it's, let me check, 11,325 kilometers on here. The bike's, the motor and the battery controller is all stock, so we got 11,000 kilometers on here. We've been beaten up on these rear bearings and they're pretty worn out. I noticed it about a week ago. And how you guys will know if you got bad wheel bearings, you'll probably know when you ride it, something will feel like it's loose, a bit weird. You can get the bike up off the ground like this, and what you're going to want to do, I find the best with the Sur-Ron is grab it right here, just above the swing arm, grab it right here and here, and you're gonna shake the wheel back and forth, and you don't have to do it too hard because you don't want to mistake tire flex or the swing arm flex for bad bearings. So you just do it lightly, and if your bearings are bad like mine, you will be able to feel the play in it, and you can probably hear it too. If you can get closer over here, I don't know, on the chain right here, watch when I grab the swing arm, and I can actually move the tire. See that? Do you see that chain moving? That tire is actually moving back and forth a little bit on the axle, because what's happened is the bearings, right, they have little rollers in them. What happens is they wear down ever so slightly, and they get a little bit of play in your tire, right? So we got 11,000 kilometers, that's quite a bit. And the more you're smashing over logs and you know, doing jumps and all that stuff, it wears it out. So if you got a tire that's loose like that, you're going to need to change your wheel bearing. So how do we do that? Well, that's what you came here for. So first off, you're going to find your master link. You're going to need your needle nose. You're going to take your back wheel off. Y'all probably already know you need your 17 millimeter, your 6 millimeter Allen on the other side. We'll get back to you guys when we got the tire off. Okay guys, so once you get the tire off the bike, what you're going to do is you're going to come in here, right here, there's a rubber seal on each side. And you can use something like a flathead screwdriver. I'm going to try not to use this one because I have filed it down and it's quite sharp. Not that it really matters because I do have new, these are called oil seals. I have new ones, so it doesn't really matter if I ruined those ones anyways. So. But if you guys are doing this on another bike or whatever and you want to save these seals for whatever, just try your needle nose. It'll probably pull them out too, especially if you keep them greased. I don't know, I usually keep my stuff pretty well maintained. You'll just stick it in there, pop it up, work your way around. Yeah, this one, it's I don't care about it. I'm just gonna ruin it and get it out of there if I have to. It's pretty stuck in there, so at this point. But yeah, it's been in there quite a while. I took it apart, I think sometime last year, and once you get these off, there's a little seal on the actual bearing itself. You can take that out too, which is what I did last year. I re-greased the whole bearing, so got quite a bit of life out of them for what they are. This thing is giving me some trouble now. So we resorted back to the screwdriver. Like I said, I don't really care if I run it. There we go. Probably shouldn't really reuse these anyways unless they're fairly fresh. As you can see, there's tons of grease in there. Some of it's even still green, which is a good sign. That's the, I just used the Lucas Extra Heavy grease. I took these apart last year. I cleaned it all out with a brake cleaner, all that old grease that they had in there. It's not very good quality grease they have in these. So I flushed it all out and repacked them. And yeah, they've worked for a long time. And so I got 8,000 kilometers on there, so, or 8,000. Sorry guys, 11,000. I think Heather's bike has around 8,000. That's what I was thinking of. Okay, I'm just gonna clean this out a little bit. And as you can see, there's the bearing, and there's this little piece right here. That's the rubber seal for the bearing. And what you can do, I would use a scalpel, something very fine, and you can get in there and just pop that up. And I wouldn't do it until you have about, you know, a few thousand kilometers on the bike. I probably did it around 5,000 kilometers. You pop these up on each side and spray brake cleaner fluid, or you can use 99% rubbing alcohol, some kind of solvent. You're going to want to flush all the grease that's out of these on each side. Wait for it to dry and completely right, all the solvent's drained out. It's totally clean. Solvent runs out clean, and then you repack them with whatever wheel bearing grease that you guys like the best. I like that the Lucas, the green Lucas. Worked good for me. However,
Bird dog, you're right in the view. Come on, get out of there.
Yeah, we're gonna do the same thing on the other side there, guys. And we're gonna pop these bearings out.
Bird, you can't stand in front of the camera, silly girl.
Really?
Come on.
Alright, and then we're gonna knock the bearings out with this piece of wood. And we're going to use this is a bearing press that I made. However, we're just going to take all the hardware out. We're just going to use the bar, just because I don't have another piece of that I think will fit in there. I'm not worried if I mar it up a little bit on the edge. I can file it down something here. Or if you guys have an old axle or something like that laying around, you can probably use that. Don't use your axle that you're going to use for your bike, obviously. But you need something that can fit through there. I'm going to show you guys, but there's a spacer in there, and you're going to have to put something in there on the other side and kind of push the spacer down, and then put your thing down like that. You have to have a hole, so I'm going to drill a hole in this board, and I'll just show you guys instead of explaining it now. So let's get the hole drilled. Okay guys, so after you get the these little oil seals out on each side, give it a little wipe with your rag. Come in here with a torch if you have one. If you don't have a torch, well, it'll still work, but this will probably help you out a lot. And you're just gonna come in here, just heat the just heat the metal up a little bit on the outside. That will make it expand ever so slightly. And make it easier to get out. Yep. Take your piece, put that down on your piece of wood. It's gonna be a little bit. Try to line it up. I have a flashlight to help me. It'll help if you have a flashlight, then you can see down in there. Make sure that you got your because the main thing is you don't want to damage your hub. Okay, so I'm going to make sure that's on there pretty good. Right in the middle. Best you can. Okay. Looks pretty good to me right there. And you're going to come in there with your it's gonna be almost impossible for me to actually show you what's going on down there, but I can tell you there's a spacer in between the two bearings, and you can get in there and you're gonna be able to move it to the side, and that's what you're gonna do. And you're gonna put this on this is called a race, so you're gonna put this on the bearing race, the inside one. There's two races. You're only able to get at the inside one, so because of the spacer. So you're gonna put that down, you're gonna hit it just once. You're not gonna smash it or anything like that, you're just gonna hit it. Nice little tap. And then you're gonna go on the other side, and you're gonna do it on like 4 sides, nice and evenly. And you should be able to feel it actually come out. And I can actually feel it actually coming out, so that's a good sign. And to show you guys, we'll flip it over. And you can see it almost near the edge of the thing. So it's almost a couple more hits and we'll show you guys. So if you guys are new to working on your own bikes and stuff, don't be scared to do stuff like this. It's not hard, just take your time, and I got faith in y'all, you can do it. So a couple more taps and that bearing will be out of there, guys. Oh, yeah. You don't have to hit it hard, you just have to, as you can see, I don't know if it's hard to see, I'm sorry, but you can feel with this rod, you're gonna put it down, hit one tap on that side, on opposite sides, right? Just kind of, if you guys put your handlebars on your stem, it's kind of like how you tighten them, right? You tighten the one nut and then you do opposite, right? You want to, I'll tell you, you don't want to just crank on one thing and get that bearing will get jammed in there, and you'll have a frustrating time. So I'm gonna quit rambling now. We're gonna get this bearing out. There, it just popped right out. You see that? Bam, it's out. There's the spacer. Came right out nicely because everything's nicely greased up in there. And we're gonna flip the tire over, do the same to the other side. Wipe all that out, clean it, re-grease it, and we're gonna pop the new bearings. Well, they're not just gonna pop in, but they're not gonna be hard. We might use the press, or we might just use the old bearing, and we'll put the new bearing. We'll be able to push the new bearing in so much with our hand, not all the way, but a little bit. And we put the old bearing on top of it, and you can hammer it in like that without damaging the new one. Or if you have a socket that's the same size as the outer race, you're going to want to tap these in on the outer race. The outside one, you don't never tap it in from the inside. You can tap it out from the outside, or tap it out from the inside race, because that's all you can get at. But when you're putting them back in, you never hit the inside one here. You always want to do the outside, or you can use a little homemade press, like I'll show you. This rod with the bearing, not the bearing, the rod with the washers on there and the nuts, and I'll show you guys. You'll see. That's good. Hello folks, we're back now. We got the wheel to this point. What you see here is just a simple homemade bearing press that I made. It's nothing spectacular. This is just a simple piece of threaded stock, we'll say. We got nut, 2 washers, and what we got going on here is you can see in here, that is actually the old bearing that we knocked out previously. The new one is on the inside. We're going to use the old one to push the new one in, and we have the exact same thing going on the other side here. It's the same setup. We have just a plain nut that our crescent mont's attached to, the 2 washers, the old bearing. The new bearing is already halfway in the thing, you can't see it, that's the old bearing, and we're going to use those to press the new ones in. So here we go, guys. The most important thing here is make sure everything's lined up as it is right now, but we're going to keep our eye on it as we go. Take your 2 crescent wrenches. I forgot to mention, we're obviously going to grease your new bearings, and I also pulled them out of the freezer. I put them in the freezer about an hour before I did this, because it'll just make them easier to go in, as I showed you guys with the flame. To knock them out, makes the flame will actually expand the steel. The freezer will contract the steel, so make it a little easier. Still tip. Okay guys, here we go. I'm just going to make sure everything's lined up. That's the most important thing here, guys, is these bearings, they last a long time, so there's no rush here. There's no point on rushing. You want to make sure that these go in flush. So actually just going to loosen that one off. There we go. Tighten that up a little bit. You just want to make sure everything's perfectly flush, okay, before you really start. There we go. That looks a lot nicer. You don't want to be putting these things in on an angle or anything like that. So just take your time. If you've never done it before, don't be discouraged. It's not that hard of a job to do. And there we go. As you can turn these wrenches, you can feel the bearings getting pressed in there. So and you can see as well. And you can feel it, you'll just know. And then how do you know when to stop? Well, it's gonna all of a sudden get very tight. We greased the whole inside of there and bearings obviously. So as you've seen, it just got pretty easy there. Oh, it's starting to get tight. Take a look, make sure everything's going in there properly. check around. That side looks good. This side looks like the bearing was went in a lot easier, which I think it was. Yeah, that side was a lot easier to come out. This one was harder to get out. I didn't get that one on camera. This one I had a lot more trouble with. I believe it was. So we're just going to keep tightening that because this one on this side is not quite set in there yet. So. Oh, there we go. One of them just freed up a lot. And it's going, and it just got tight. And I'm not gonna crank this with all my force. So let's back these off, and we'll see where we're at here for now. Okay. It's not a big deal. What we can do is we can tap them in with a hammer, or we can continue to use the press, which that's probably what we will do. They felt like they were pressed in a little bit, but how do we know? Well, you guys can see that. It's kind of hard to see. It looks to me like it's it looks like it's pressed all the way in there. We have to make sure that it's all the way in there for sure. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to take this washer off of here, because as we can see, this one is hitting these those right there. The bolts for the disc brake. What we're gonna have to do is take this off. And flip it around. And now, as you can see, you get that extra bit. Well, actually, we don't even need this one at this point. You don't even need the big one. Just put the nut back on, because this small washer is actually the exact same size as that one. Okay, so we're good. Now, as you guys can see, I don't have to do that for this side because these bolts, obviously, nothing's in the way there. So I didn't initially see that, in the first place. But I did before we put it all back together, so that's what's most important. So as you can see, I need to bump that up a little. Right, that is almost perfect. Can you see that? It's lined up, looks like. So we're gonna attach our crescent wrench on there. Try to set these bearings all the way in there and get this job done. Feels pretty tight. To tell you the truth, it feels like they might be, feels like that might be good right there. If you guys have ever set your bearings on a bottom bracket or anything like that, and you'll know. They feel like, you just know. Those bearings are set. I'm gonna back this off now. We will take this apart. These bearings, they're the old ones. They'll just pop out of there. Watch this. They pop out of there. That's the new ones in there. And we will take these. We'll clean them all up and we'll re-grease them. We will put everything back together and we will be done with it. Now, some people might, and we also have the new oil seals. These are the old ones. That's what the oil seals look like. Gross, full of hair now because they've been on the floor. So, we got new ones of those. You can pack those full of grease as well. As you can see, the grease was still, you can still see the grease was green in there, which is a good sign. Some people might be asking, how did you know the old bearings from the new bearings? So they look the same. Well, what I did was the old ones, I took these little seals off of them. And because I did want to inspect them as well, so I'll show you what they look like. Because I did. Okay, guys, so we've finished the project now. This is what it looks like. Sorry I didn't show myself putting the new oil seals in, however, this is what the old ones look like. You're going to take them, pack in here with grease, rub a bit of grease all over the whole thing, and then you just, they go in the same way that the old ones came out. There's like a little groove. You pack that with the grease and that goes towards the inside, like that, okay? Now you might be also wondering, I said I used the old bearings to push the new ones in. How did I tell them apart? Well, when I took the old bearings out, what I did was took the little seal off of the one side of the old bearings. So that's what it looks like inside of there. The old grease is all turned black and they still spin okay, but there's play in them, so they needed to be changed. So, but that's how I could tell the difference. So I didn't get the new ones mixed up from the old ones, was I took the little seal off of the old ones. That's how you can tell them apart. And yeah, it works perfect. If you go get yourself a little, you can make yourself a little bearing press. You just go get a piece of threaded stock, some nuts, some washers, and you can even use your old bearings, save those, because they come in handy. And Yeah, guys, so I think that's everything. Oh, I didn't mention it when I was doing it because I had this all put together and everything, but don't forget to put your spacer back in there too. So that's the first thing that goes in there. Your spacer goes in, and then you can assemble all that and push your bearings in. The last thing, we just had these soaking in some degreaser overnight, so we will get those a little bit more cleaned up, dried off, and we'll re-grease these. You're going to want to grease these on this part here that goes into the wheel there, or the hole, whatever you want to call it. And we'll re-grease the axle, and we'll put it back together, torque the nut down, and get the chain back on. We'll take this thing for a ride, and we'll see how much smoother it rolls now. Okay, guys?